So I'm here with my green tea, and this video is going to be weird.
Hi everybody, it's Susan, and I am here today with something completely different than what I have done before. Well, not so different, but I have had some really weird things happen to me, and they've come up in comments and in messages and interactions with some of you guys. And so I decided to do a few videos about these things that have happened to me because, number one, some of you may have had the same things happen or similar things, which I am really interested to hear. And secondly, if you haven't, let me know why I have, okay? So that's pretty much where we're at with this. So this is going to be a paranormal story time. I have several that are strange, although not that many compared to some people. So basically, this story happened years ago. I was going to a theater. This theater was built, I believe, in the early 1800s. And this theater was all original. The building itself, the actual theater, was original. And then they added on a completely new structure that was behind it but not connected to it. This is important for later. There was an independent film that was holding auditions at this theater. So I decided to go. Great. Go to the theater. There is, keeping in mind this building is all from the 1800s, and I'll try to put some photos in. There's kind of a basement level.
With a lot of poles, you know, supporting the basement level, and
that's where they had everyone wait. So we're waiting there, and time is
going on and on and on,
and hours are just flying by. Now, of course, they're giving us food and drink while we wait. Everyone's talking, so we didn't notice it as much as we probably should have. So the auditions start running late.
And later, and later.
And a lot of people actually start leaving. So, you know, because let's face it, I love independent film, but the budget is not huge. And so if people were there for the wrong reasons, then they weren't going to last too long. They would just go ahead and leave. So there were not that many of us left that had come in around the same time that I had, because we had come in a little bit later. So we had to stay later since they were running behind. And they were actually doing on-camera auditions. So they were taking people from this basement area of the main theater and then having them go outside and into the brand new building that was built behind it. At one point, there are only about 5 to 10 of us left. So they said, let's all go over to the new structure together. You are the last batch.
Not to be confused with gremlins.
We go over there. And of course,
because this kind of stuff always happens to me,
I've been there all these hours. Now it's about to be my turn. And, well, the coffee. I had to use the ladies' room because I had consumed a lot of water and a lot of coffee while we were waiting. And of course, when you're nervous and you're next, that always happens, right? So there were about 3 more people before me. So I asked the gentleman who actually worked for the theater that was kind of organizing all of this for the production, could I use the restroom? Thinking and presuming that the restroom was going to be in the new structure. It wasn't. He says, sure, you can use the restroom. You go back into the main building. You see where I'm going with this, right? Nobody else is in there anymore. You go back into the main building, and you'll see when you go in that lower door up to the right, there's like 3 little steps, and that's the restroom. These are like the original restrooms from the 1800s, where apparently everyone was super, super small. I seriously debated whether I wanted to go back in there alone or not, but my bladder said, yes, you have to go. So I went back in there. At this point, please keep in mind, I have no idea of the history of this theater. So I go in, I go up the steps, I go into the restroom. This restroom was from the 1800s, but what they had done was they made an actual stall area around the toilet so that someone could be at the sink while someone was in the restroom. I go into the stall, I close the door, I start to pull my pants down, and I have my pants down to my mid-thighs, we'll say. As I'm starting to bend down, I hear this beast kind of roar. I cannot describe this well enough to anyone. Ever since this happened, I have not really told a lot of people this either, just a very few, because it was literally like a beast growl. It was all-consuming. I don't know how to describe this, but I completely freaked. I felt every hair on the back of my neck standing up.
Which for me, that never happens. I get goosebumps and things, but that never happens.
And it almost seemed like it was in the wall. I don't know how to describe it. So, suffice to say, I ran out of the building with my pants down. Yeah, I know, it was kind of hard to run that way. And I was trying to pull them up while I was running, but I wasn't succeeding very well. I get outside, I get into the new structure. Apparently I was white as a ghost. And in my mind at that moment, I'm scared, but I also am being very analytical and scientific about it, and I'm saying, okay, could it be pipes in the walls, shifting, pressure, that sort of thing? Could I have just been blowing it out of proportion because I was alone in there and there was no one else there, even though I wasn't scared when I went in? All of this is racing through my mind in this moment. But as I get there, I'm still finishing pulling up my pants when I walk back up to the gentleman who works there, who I think at the time was the manager of the theater, or like the assistant manager. At which point he just looks at me and says, "You too?" And I said, what do you mean? And he said, something happened over there, didn't it? And I said, okay, this is a theater building. Were you guys messing with me? Did somebody do something? I mean, I didn't know how they could have possibly done it, because if you would see where and how this building is, there was no possible way for anyone to have been in there in that area behind. There was nobody else there. And you guys, I don't think I said, but this, by now, it was like 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning.
It was super late.
Like I said, most people bail. At that point, I told him what happened. And, pardon me for still, zipping up my pants. And he told me, honestly, he said, I could see it. And I just, you're running out, zipping up your pants. And apparently I was more pale than I already am. And he said, it happens to everyone. He said, I don't understand. And he proceeded to tell me that everyone that was in any productions at that theater and everyone who had worked at that theater had experienced something, except him. They had either seen something, heard something, felt something, whatever, weirdness, except for him. And that he really wanted to see or hear or experience something, and he had not yet. At that time, he had not experienced anything. And so it was literally almost like he was a bit jealous. At which point, I explained to him,
it really wasn't that fun.
I do have to honestly say that after basically trying to debunk it in many ways, there's no explanation for that. And I've never heard any sound like that before. I've heard pipes and walls, I've heard all these things. I have never heard or felt anything like that before, and not ever wanting to experience that again. I did this video because I want to know, has anyone experienced anything like that? Did it change how you thought? Anything is possible. 50% of it probably isn't, what you think it is, at least, but something weird happened. It was literally a beast growl. I don't know how else to describe it, you guys.
If there was a lion next to me that roared, it would not even be as loud or as in-depth as what I heard.
I do personally find it funny now that I ran out with my pants down amongst many strangers. Okay, you guys, so here's what happened. Let's have it, pick up whatever you're drinking, okay? Have some with me. Because here's what's really freaky, okay? I was filming that, and all of a sudden, I heard a bling, like someone pushed the button on my phone, because as we all know, this is a high-rent operation, and I do film all of my videos on my iPhone. I heard a bling as if someone pushed the button to stop recording. So I went over and looked, and my video spontaneously stopped recording. So at that point, I was sufficiently creeped out. I packed it up for the night. How strange is it that I'm filming my very first Storytime paranormal story video, and all of a sudden I hear a bling as though someone turned off my phone, and I go around and it stopped recording, and there was no earthly reason for that to happen, huh? Nobody is here except for me and the cat and the dog.
I don't understand.
Please comment below and let me know what you think about that. Now, have you guys had any experiences like this before? If you have, comment below, let me know. What do you guys think or not think? What do you believe in or not believe in? Because here's the thing. What do you guys think? Have you guys had anything like this happen before? What do you think? I thought about pipes in the wall. I thought about everything. There was no one else there. The building was very old. I thought about it settling or whatever. This was a literal, like a
Beast.
thing. Like when you watch a horror movie. The only difference is, it's really fun when you hear it in a horror movie and when you get that kind of vibe as if you're experiencing it in a horror movie. It is not fun when it happens in real life. I'm just going to let you know that right now. Not fun. Ran out with my pants down. That is my weird paranormal experience in a really, really old theater. At the end of that year, there was a big newspaper article on haunted places in the area, or supposedly haunted places, and it was on there.
And I did not even read the first thing about it until almost a year later.
Also, if you've had anything like this happen to you, comment down below, let me know. I want to talk about this. I want to hear your stories while I drink my tea. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you on the next video. And as always, stay spooktacular.
And with a matcha green tea if at all possible.